Have you ever felt lightheaded after a meal? Or maybe you've noticed moments where you feel unusually tired, shaky, or even a bit dizzy despite eating what seems like a healthy diet. Many women over 60 experience these frustrating symptoms and wonder what's really happening inside their bodies. Now, you might assume it's just part of getting older. And even more surprisingly, what if one simple fruit, easy to find at your local grocery store, could help protect you from dangerous blood sugar spikes that put your health at risk? I know that might sound too simple. Spent decades working with women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I've seen firsthand how small, targeted changes can make a profound difference. Aging changes how your body processes food, especially carbohydrates, and this can lead to damaging blood sugar surges that silently affect your arteries, your brain, your nerves, and even your muscles. Today, I want to show you how one fruit backed by strong scientific research can help stabilize your blood sugar after meals. It's about using what we know from real aging physiology. Foods can actually make things worse. The hidden connection between blood sugar, inflammation, and aging. And most importantly, after making healthy choices, or if you're simply looking for safe, the fruit I'll reveal today might just become your new daily habit. But first, let's begin by understanding why blood sugar control becomes so much more critical after 60, and why spikes that may have seemed harmless earlier in life can now do far more damage. As we age, our bodies handle glucose differently than they did in our younger years. Even if you've maintained a fairly healthy lifestyle, changes begin to occur silently inside your metabolism. Insulin is the hormone responsible for helping your cells absorb glucose from your bloodstream after you eat. In your 20s and 30s, your cells respond quickly to insulin, pulling sugar out of your blood and into your muscles, liver, and tissues for energy. But after 60, this response often weakens. Your cells become less responsive to insulin's signal, a condition known as insulin resistance. This means that after a meal, glucose stays in your bloodstream longer, leading to higher blood sugar spikes. The pancreas tries to compensate by producing even more insulin, but over time, this excessive demand can wear it down. At the same time, your metabolism naturally slows. The enzymes that break down carbohydrates work less efficiently. Muscles, which are major sites for glucose storage, also begin to shrink if not actively maintained. This creates a perfect storm: reduced glucose disposal, weaker insulin response, and muscles less able to absorb sugar. But what makes these spikes truly dangerous is not just the temporary high blood sugar. It's the repeated surges, meal after meal, day after day. Every time your blood sugar rises sharply, it sends waves of stress through your blood vessels, nerves, and organs. You might first notice small symptoms: feeling fatigued after eating, occasional blurry vision, dizziness when standing, or an unusual thirst. These may seem minor, but they are early warning signs that your body is struggling to maintain stable glucose levels over time. Chronic blood sugar spikes damage the delicate linings of your arteries. This leads to stiffness, high blood pressure, and increased risk for heart disease. In your eyes, tiny capillaries become fragile, raising the risk of vision problems. Nerve fibers suffer too, resulting in tingling numbness or burning sensations, a condition known as neuropathy. Even your kidneys, which act like filters to remove waste from your blood, are at risk. High sugar concentrations force them to work harder, which can lead to long-term damage and impaired function. Perhaps the most concerning part is the vicious cycle that can develop. The more your blood sugar spikes, the more insulin resistance grows. And as insulin resistance increases, your blood sugar spikes become even sharper. It's a self-perpetuating loop that becomes harder to break with age. But here's the encouraging news. While this cycle is common, it's not inevitable. Understanding what drives these spikes is the first step to stopping them. And shortly, I'll show you how a simple fruit can play a powerful role in flattening these dangerous curves. Before we get to that, though, let's take a closer look at a hidden danger. Because surprisingly, many foods that appear healthy, even marketed as perfect for seniors, can actually fuel these damaging spikes. And that's what we'll explore next. Many women I work with tell me, "Doctor, I eat healthy. I avoid sweets and desserts. So why are my blood sugar levels still high?" This is one of the most frustrating parts of managing blood sugar after 60, because unfortunately, many foods, marketed as healthy, are not as gentle on your blood sugar as you might expect. Let's start with fruit juices. They're often advertised as full of vitamins, antioxidants, and perfect for breakfast. But in reality, fruit juice is highly concentrated sugar without the natural fiber that's present in whole fruit. That fiber is critical because it slows down how fast glucose enters your bloodstream. Without it, drinking a glass of juice can send your blood sugar soaring within minutes. Then there are refined grains. Think of foods like white bread, instant oatmeal packets, crackers, and even some so-called multigrain products. These carbohydrates break down quickly into glucose during digestion, leading to sharp, rapid blood sugar spikes. Low-fat snacks present another problem. Many seniors have been told for decades that fat is the enemy. As a result, they reach for low-fat yogurts, granola bars, or packaged heart-healthy snacks. But to make up for the missing fat, manufacturers often add sugar or highly processed starches to improve taste and texture. The result, a seemingly innocent snack that can spike blood sugar even faster than a sugary dessert. Even foods labeled diabetic-friendly or sugar-free aren't always safe. Some contain sugar alcohols or artificial sweeteners that may still trigger insulin responses or cause digestive discomfort. Others are packed with refined carbs that overwhelm the pancreas. The aging pancreas is already under extra strain. After years of compensating for mild insulin resistance, its insulin-producing cells, called beta cells, may begin to weaken. When you eat a high glycemic meal, your pancreas must work overtime to release enough insulin to handle the surge of sugar. This repeated demand can eventually lead to beta cell exhaustion. Over months and years, these constant blood sugar spikes do more than just raise your A1C number. They contribute directly to the long-term complications that so many seniors fear. Type 2 diabetes, painful peripheral neuropathy, cognitive decline, kidney disease, and heart problems. And here's the worst part, because these foods are often labeled as healthy. You might consume them daily without realizing the damage they're doing behind the scenes. But I don't want you to feel discouraged. The solution isn't to avoid all carbohydrates or live in constant fear of food. Instead, it's about learning how your body responds to different types of carbohydrates and how certain nutrients can buffer and stabilize these responses. In a moment, we're going to dive into the science behind exactly why these blood sugar spikes are so harmful, and soon after that, I'll introduce you to the fruit that can help protect you naturally and deliciously. By now, you understand that repeated blood sugar spikes are more than just numbers on a lab test. They trigger a chain reaction inside your body that affects every organ system, and it all begins with something called oxidative stress. When glucose levels rise sharply after a meal, your cells produce an excess of free radicals. These are unstable molecules that damage your cells, proteins, and DNA. The body has natural defenses to neutralize free radicals, but repeated spikes overwhelm these defenses. This imbalance is what scientists call oxidative stress. Oxidative stress, in turn, triggers chronic low-grade inflammation. This isn't the kind of inflammation you feel as swelling or pain. It's silent and persistent, operating quietly inside your blood vessels, nerves, and tissues. Over time, this inflammation becomes one of the major drivers of aging-related diseases. One of the first systems affected is your vascular system. Your blood vessels are lined with a delicate layer of cells called the endothelium. Think of it as a smooth inner surface that allows blood to flow easily. When glucose spikes occur, the endothelium becomes irritated and inflamed. This leads to endothelial dysfunction, a stiffening and narrowing of your arteries that raises blood pressure and makes your heart work harder. In seniors, this stiffening happens faster because the repair mechanisms that once protected your arteries are less efficient with age. High blood pressure, a common issue in women over 60, is often linked directly to this process. But the damage doesn't stop there. Tiny capillaries in your eyes, kidneys, and nerve endings are especially vulnerable. When glucose levels swing up and down repeatedly, these delicate vessels break down more quickly. That's why uncontrolled blood sugar can lead to vision problems like diabetic retinopathy, kidney issues known as nephropathy, and nerve damage called peripheral neuropathy. Even your brain is affected. The brain relies on a steady, balanced glucose supply. But when blood sugar fluctuates wildly, it creates microvascular damage in the brain's small vessels, impairing circulation. Over years, this can accelerate cognitive decline and memory loss, something many seniors fear deeply. What's especially concerning is how glucose variability, the ups and downs, seems to be even more harmful than consistently elevated but stable blood sugar. Studies have shown that large swings in glucose contribute to a greater inflammatory response, higher levels of vascular damage, and increased risk of cardiovascular events. One research study published in Diabetes Care found that glucose variability independently predicted the progression of atherosclerosis, the hardening of arteries, even when average blood sugar levels appeared well controlled. Another study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism highlighted how glucose spikes contribute to oxidative damage at the mitochondrial level, further impairing metabolism in aging cells. This is why controlling post-meal blood sugar spikes is so critical, especially after 60. Even if your fasting glucose or A1C levels are within acceptable ranges, those hidden surges after meals may quietly cause cumulative damage over time. The good news is that science has also identified powerful natural ways to blunt these spikes. Certain nutrients can stabilize your glucose response, reduce inflammation, and protect your cells. And one specific fruit, which we'll discuss in just a moment, has shown impressive benefits in this area. But before we get to that, let's understand exactly how this fruit works and why it holds such unique power against blood sugar spikes. Now we come to the part you've been waiting for. The fruit I want to share with you today is backed by strong science, widely available, and delicious. It's not some exotic superfood or expensive supplement. It's something you may have enjoyed for years without fully realizing its power. Blueberries. Blueberries are one of nature's most effective tools for helping regulate blood sugar, especially for seniors. Their benefits come from a combination of compounds that work together to stabilize glucose and protect your metabolic health. First, blueberries are rich in polyphenols, natural plant compounds that have powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Among these polyphenols, one group stands out: anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give blueberries their deep blue-purple color, but their role goes far beyond appearance. Multiple studies have shown that anthocyanins improve insulin sensitivity. This means that after consuming blueberries, your cells are better able to respond to insulin signal, allowing more efficient absorption of glucose from the bloodstream. One study published in the Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that daily consumption of blueberries significantly improved insulin sensitivity in adults with insulin resistance, even over a short period of time. In addition to anthocyanins, blueberries provide soluble fiber, a type of fiber that slows the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates. When you eat fiber-rich foods, glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually, preventing sharp spikes. For seniors is how they target multiple aspects of metabolic health simultaneously. They don't just lower blood sugar. They also reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, and vascular damage, all of which contribute to long-term complications. In one clinical trial published in Nutrients, participants who consumed blueberries daily showed improvements not only in blood glucose control, but also in blood pressure and markers of oxidative stress. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that blueberries improved endothelial function, that critical lining inside your arteries we discussed earlier, helping maintain flexible, healthy blood vessels. Blueberries have even been shown to influence hemoglobin A1C levels, the long-term marker of average blood sugar. Over time, steady consumption may contribute to lower A1C readings, offering added protection against the progression of type 2 diabetes. Now, you might be wondering, how can something as simple as a handful of berries have such a profound effect? The answer lies in how these natural compounds interact with your body's aging physiology. By enhancing insulin sensitivity, slowing glucose absorption, and reducing inflammation, blueberries help break the vicious cycle we discussed earlier, instead of repeated glucose surges fueling insulin resistance. Blueberries support your body's ability to handle carbohydrates more efficiently and gently nudge your metabolism back toward balance. Of course, no single food is a cure, but when combined with an overall healthy diet and lifestyle, blueberries serve as a powerful daily ally, one that's easy to enjoy and supported by solid research. In just a moment, we'll look at how this simple fruit goes even further, helping protect not only your blood sugar, but also your muscles, your metabolism, and your overall vitality as you age. When we talk about blood sugar control, most people immediately think about diabetes, the pancreas, or perhaps their heart. But there's another part of your body that's deeply affected by glucose spikes, your muscles, and especially for women over 60. Protecting muscle health is essential for preserving strength, balance, and independence. Let's start with a process called glycation. When blood sugar remains elevated, glucose molecules begin to attach themselves to proteins throughout your body. This creates what scientists call advanced glycation end products, or GEs. These sticky molecules damage tissues, stiffen joints, weaken blood vessels, and, importantly, interfere with muscle function. Muscles rely on flexible, healthy proteins to contract, repair, and grow. But when glycation accumulates, muscle fibers become less elastic and more prone to injury. Over time, this contributes to sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength that so many seniors struggle with. This is where blueberries can make a surprising impact. By blunting post-meal glucose spikes, they help reduce the formation of these damaging glycation products. Less glycation means healthier, more functional muscle tissue. But blueberries do even more than that. Their polyphenols have been shown to support muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to build and repair muscle. When insulin sensitivity improves, your cells become more efficient at using amino acids from protein-rich foods to build new muscle fibers. In fact, one study published in the Journal of Gerontology demonstrated that older adults who consumed polyphenol-rich foods, including berries, experienced better muscle recovery after exercise and less inflammation. In muscle tissues, inflammation is another major factor in muscle decline. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often driven by unstable blood sugar levels, interferes with your body's ability to maintain lean muscle. Blueberries help lower markers of inflammation like C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6 IL-6, allowing your muscles to stay more responsive and resilient. Beyond muscle, stable blood sugar also influences your overall metabolism. When glucose levels swing wildly, it disrupts hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin. This can trigger stronger cravings, increased appetite, and unintentional weight gain, especially around the abdomen, which is particularly risky for seniors. By stabilizing glucose, blueberries help regulate these hunger signals, promoting better appetite control. You feel fuller for longer, reducing the temptation to snack on high-sugar, high-calorie foods between meals. Some animal studies have shown that blueberry compounds improve how the liver processes fats, helping reduce harmful triglyceride levels and supporting healthier cholesterol profiles. The combined effect is powerful: improved muscle protection, better metabolic flexibility, reduced inflammation, and steadier appetite control, all working together to preserve your strength, energy, and vitality as you age. In just a moment, I'll show you exactly how to incorporate blueberries into your daily routine, when to eat them, how much to consume, and simple tips to maximize their benefits. Because like any powerful tool, using it the right way makes all the difference. Now that you understand how powerful blueberries can be, let's talk about how to use them properly. Because while this fruit offers tremendous benefits, timing, portion size, and food combinations make a significant difference, especially for women over 60. First, when is the best time to eat blueberries? The most effective window is before or during carbohydrate-rich meals. When you eat carbohydrates, whether it's bread, rice, pasta, or even starchy vegetables, your blood sugar naturally rises. Consuming blueberries alongside these meals helps slow down how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream. The fiber and polyphenols in blueberries create a sort of natural buffer, smoothing out the glucose curve that would otherwise spike sharply. Eating blueberries on an empty stomach may offer antioxidant benefits, but pairing them with meals rich in carbohydrates provides the strongest blood sugar protection. Next, how much should you eat? Based on current studies, a daily portion of half a cup to 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries is ideal for most seniors. This provides enough anthocyanins and fiber to deliver metabolic benefits without overwhelming your total calorie or sugar intake. Frozen blueberries are just as effective. as fresh ones as long as they are unsweetened and minimally processed. In fact, frozen berries often retain more nutrients because they are picked and frozen. Quickly, after harvest now, let's talk about what to avoid. Not all blueberry products offer the same benefits. Sweetened blueberry yogurts, jams, juices, or baked goods often contain added sugars that can negate the blood sugar stabilizing effects. Always choose whole blueberries, fresh or frozen, without added sugars. For even better results, combine blueberries with protein and healthy fats. For example, you might add them to plain Greek yogurt, mix them into oatmeal, flaxseed and walnuts, or simply enjoy them with a handful of almonds. Protein and fat further slow glucose absorption and support muscle maintenance. You can also pair blueberries with other metabolic protective foods. Flax seeds add additional soluble fiber and healthy omega-3 fats. Green tea provides complementary polyphenols that support vascular health. Avocados offer healthy monounsaturated fats that improve insulin sensitivity. By combining these foods strategically, you create a well-rounded metabolic shield that supports stable blood sugar, healthy weight, and overall vitality. It's also worth noting that blueberries fit beautifully into nearly any dietary approach, whether you follow a Mediterranean diet, a plant-forward plan, or even a lower-carb lifestyle. They are versatile, easy to incorporate, and well-tolerated by most people, of course. Blueberries are not a replacement for any necessary medications or medical guidance. Always consult your healthcare provider before making major dietary changes, especially if you're managing diabetes or taking medications that affect blood sugar. But for most women over 60, adding this simple daily habit can serve as a powerful science-backed tool to support metabolic health naturally. In just a moment, I'll summarize everything we've covered today and share a simple takeaway you can put into practice starting tomorrow. As we've seen today, blood sugar spikes aren't just a concern for people with diabetes. For women over 60, they become a silent threat that affects many aspects of health, from your arteries to your nerves, your muscles, your brain, and even your ability to stay active and independent. Aging naturally reduces insulin sensitivity. Your body's ability to handle carbohydrates becomes less efficient. Even foods you once tolerated easily can now trigger sharp glucose surges that fuel inflammation, oxidative stress, and tissue damage over time. What makes this so challenging is how many so-called healthy foods, fruit juices, refined grains, low-fat snacks, contribute to the problem without you realizing it. The danger is often hidden in plain sight. But the encouraging message I want you to take away is this: you have more control than you might think. Even small, simple changes can create powerful results. By adding just 1 cup of blueberries to your daily routine, especially when paired strategically with meals, you can support healthier blood sugar responses, protect your arteries from vascular damage, preserve muscle strength and function, reduce chronic inflammation, and support long-term metabolic health as you age. These aren't empty promises or miracle claims. They are grounded in well-established research on how polyphenols, anthocyanins, and fiber work with your body's natural systems. Of course, blueberries are only one part of the puzzle. Staying active, building muscle, managing stress, getting restful sleep, and following an overall balanced diet remain essential for long-term health. But sometimes, small, consistent habits like this can tip the scale in your favor. If you've been struggling with stubborn blood sugar levels, fatigue after meals, or are simply looking for safe, natural ways to protect your health as you age, I encourage you to give this a try. Start tomorrow. Add that handful of blueberries to your breakfast, your lunch, or alongside your snacks. See how your body responds. And I'd love to hear from you. If you plan to try this simple change, leave a comment below. Share your experience. And if you found today's video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more science-based senior health advice. We'll continue exploring safe, effective ways to support your longevity, vitality, and quality of life naturally, because the truth is, you're never too old to take control of your health. Even at 60, 70, or beyond, your body can still respond to the right support. And sometimes, that support is as simple as a handful of blueberries.